But I know you did. Mayor, hold on before you start. We got.
No, we don't have any signs.
Oh, no, we're good. I have mine.
That's what we usually do.
You don't really
But
know.
it's a certain number that's
Ricky and I have ours.
what's the one on the,
Now Bobby charged right.
Yeah, you were messing with this one.
no. It's like, I can't remember whichever one that is near Ocean Springs.
This one.
But, yeah, they usually just order it.
Ready? We call the recess meeting to order, May 17, 2022. Dr. Barnett will lead us in an invocation and pledge by Alderman Henry. Please stand.
Let's pray. Our Father, we're very grateful for this day and the opportunity to gather together and see the workings of our city. Lord, this week we are particularly grateful for law enforcement, peace officers. Lord, this is the week we remember and honor those who have given their lives in the line of duty. And we're very grateful. We're grateful we live in a city, Lord, where there is peace and safety. Lord, that we don't have the issues that other cities have. And we're very grateful, and we attribute that to good leadership in our fire department, police department, and other departments. We're very grateful. In Jesus' name, we say thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Congratulations
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm listening to this. I asked him to move the flags. Took a minute to find.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
There's a motion to accept the agenda by Mr. Entry, second by Mr. Cox. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Let the record show that all aldermen are present and accounted for. We have a couple proclamations and a special presentation. Mr. Hale, you want to come up here? This is Mike Hale. He works in the beautification area for our city. You've seen him been downtown mulching, cutting, blowing, and trimming bushes. So he does a great job. The city of Ocean Springs is named a beautiful city. Chief Mississippi Beautiful Award that just got this presented to us. And the award is given based on a nomination of the Ocean Springs Public Works Beautification Department and their diligent and dedicated work to implementing the city's first wildflower beds near the city's entrance from the Biloxi Bay Bridge to several areas downtown. The seeds were donated by Keep Ocean Springs Beautiful Committee and their state affiliate group, Keep Mississippi Beautiful. While several beautification programs exist in our city, they are delighted to participate in one that encourage them to learn new techniques. Mike, I want to thank you for keeping Ocean Springs beautiful, keeping Mississippi beautiful.
Thank you, Mayor.
All the work you do. You want to say a few words?
Well, say, I wasn't this beautiful city for y'all. How about this? Yeah, that's right. There was a learning curve. So next month, my plan, I'm over that top 10, top 5.
We'll participate and help you all we can.
I know you will.
You bring that down to public works.
That's what, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Y'all.
Got a couple proclamations. The first one is for an environmental and engineering firm here in Ocean Springs that moved to the city 2 years ago. And were awarded, I think, a pretty impressive award. So whereas Cypress Environmental and Infrastructure has been ranked on Inc. magazine's list of the Southeast region's fastest growing private companies. And whereas with 2-year revenue growth of 182%, Cypress Environmental and Infrastructure was ranked number 75 on Inc. 5,000 regional Southeastern list. And whereas Cypress Environmental and Infrastructure is a woman-owned small business on the Mississippi Gulf Coast located in Ocean Springs. They provide engineering, planning, environmental, and construction management services to local, municipal, state, federal, and private clients. Their interdisciplinary staff provides client-focused solutions for coastal projects, water resources, and industry. And whereas the companies on the Inc. 5,000 regional list show a remarkable rate of growth across all industries in the Southeast region. And whereas their specific project experience encompasses civil and coastal engineering, environmental engineering, open space design, modeling, national environmental policy, compliance, permitting, and GIS. Their leadership has more than 50 years combined in the AE industry and founded Cypress to address the need for modern interdisciplinary project solutions. Now, therefore, I, Kenny Holloway, Mayor of the City of Ocean Springs, do hereby proclaim May 17, 2022 as Cypress Environmental Infrastructure Day. And we have 3 people here. You want to come forward? This is the lady who heads the organization. I'll give you this. Take a picture with y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's say a few words about your company.
Thank you, Mayor Holly. We really appreciate, we, of course, have lived in Ocean Springs even longer than 2 years, and we appreciate being here and bringing these sorts of jobs to the city and providing services to the city and its other clients.
Go ahead and have your
3 more years.
and 4 years of growth, right?
Yeah, that kind of growth too. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Dr. Barnett mentioned that Peace Officers Memorial Day and Police Week, so this is a proclamation for that. Whereas by resolution of the U.S. Congress in October 1, 1962, the President of the United States has been authorized and requested to designate May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as National Police Week. And whereas we solemnly acknowledge our debt to those who have lost their lives in the line of duty, extending our prayers and gratitude to those officers and their families. Whereas we wish to express our gratitude to all law enforcement officers in the city of Ocean Springs and throughout the United States for their commitment to justice and to their communities. And whereas we recognize the dedication of the Ocean Springs Police Department to serve Ocean Springs residents and visitors by preserving peace in our community, safeguarding precious life and personal property, and protecting against violence, disorder, and oppression. And whereas the officers of the Ocean Springs Police Department are committed to supporting the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Mississippi, and the ordinances of the City of Ocean Springs, to obey the laws thereof. Now, therefore, I, Kenny Holloway, Mayor of Ocean Springs, call upon all citizens of this city and upon all patriotic, civil, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 11th through 17th, 2022 as Police Week, commemorating police officers past, present, who, by their faithful and loyal devotion to the responsibilities, have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in doing so have established themselves as inevitable, enduring reputation for preserving the right and security of our citizens. I further call on all citizens of Ocean Springs to observe May 15, 2022 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, to honor those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives and have become disabled in the performance of duty. Chief, will you come forward? Appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you.
Your officers. Thank you.
Reverend Barnett mentioned it during his opening prayer, and that is, we're grateful as officers in this city to have you, because when it's about officers that have come to work here from other cities close to here and from far away from here, and they're amazed that you wave at them with all your fingers. So I want to thank our community. There's very few communities in this country that support us like y'all do.
Next item on the agenda is public comment. The public is invited to address the board for up to 3 minutes each for a maximum period of 30 minutes. This is only regarding issues listed on the agenda. If you'd like to speak to an issue on the agenda, please come forward, identify yourself at the podium.
I'm up at the podium. State your name and address.
Right here.
I'm Deborah Tatum. I live at 1214 Iola Road here in Ocean
Come to
Springs.
the podium, please.
Oh, please don't make me.
Yeah, we can't treat you any different.
I'm Deborah Tatum. I live at 1214 Iola Road here in Ocean Springs, and I've lived in Ocean Springs for 24 years. I happen to live on the water, and of course, we have a new establishment in my backyard called Marina Cantina. So my issue is trying to get a no-wait zone behind our property and all the residents that live on the water on Iola Road. So, it's always been kind of quiet back there. Usually the only boat traffic we've ever gotten is during a storm where you have shrimp boats and that coming in, for safe harbor. But now we have lots and lots of boats. I lose count after about 45 or 50. So there are a lot of people that do not respect other people's property. They don't slow down. The boats are bigger now. The jet skis are bigger now. And they go 90 to nothing. So we have piers, we have boathouses, and we just really need to address trying to get these people to slow down. Me yelling at them is not working. I have a little no-wait sign that I put up that I ordered off of Amazon, and I think I've really made them mad now. So, but anyway, but it's just, I'm in that, like I said, there's, I don't know how many homes on that little bayou right there, but quite a few. And of course, they started dredging, which is a great thing. Thank y'all for getting that dredge back there. But that's only going to bring more boats, more boat traffic with the dredging back there. So just please address that and think about that. I know the marsh grass behind my home, when we moved here 24 years ago, the grass actually went out into the middle of the channel. Well, it has already started deteriorating, and it is just, it's eventually, it's just going away, just a little bit at a time, and a lot of that is weight water. So just, anyway, that's said my piece, so. See?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments on the agenda? Okay. Move on to old business. We have Scott Lemon here this evening to address our insurance issues.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank y'all for having me back here. I really want to kind of take this chance. We did a little update when we were together on the 3rd. As we talked earlier, this is an extremely unusual market cycle and year that we're facing. We did get some preliminary information back end of last week from the renewal of the incumbent carrier, which is AmRisk, which is a carrier that is made up of about 6 or 8 different companies that put it together for placement. What we heard from AmRisk is to take our deductible from the $50,000 it is now for wind, go up to a 3% deductible. And then there's $40 million of building in the city. They're offering a $20 million loss limit. So they're not offering this full wind limit term. Where we have to go from here in the next 2 weeks is to see whether we want to try to buy more at the bottom, to buy 2% or 1%, or to try to buy higher limits, full limits like we always have been able to do at the top end. But those will be decisions that the program will fill in over the next couple of weeks. The other part of right now, even with the higher deductible and the lower top end limits, we're at about a 40% increase. So we got plenty of work to do between now and then. We've seen municipalities take 7-10% wind deductibles. It's not where I think we want to end up, but it's where we are right now in the market. What I would really, I think the path forward from here is, and we renew by the end of the month, by the 31st, is to have some conversations. I'm going to have some further conversations with Mindy tomorrow and try to start setting up some directions with the market and see where we can go. I would like to try to meet with the insurance committee either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, and then maybe a special call next Thursday to get full board approval. It's probably the most realistic timeline.
Have we gotten input from any other carriers? It sounds like AmRisk is trying to price themselves out of the market.
We knew that going in. They have written about $2 billion worth of business, and they said they were getting off $1 billion, and they pretty much just didn't offer renewal to a lot of that. So we're at least getting a renewal offer. There's some other players that we can go back and discuss terms and conditions. They're upset that the library has EPIS on it. I'm like, it's a heavy constructed building. It's got an 8-foot span of EPIS. It's not a 6-story Hampton Inn on the interstate that's so much that's going to blow it off. So, we're furthering conversations with them and with other markets as well. So as far as the timeline, we'll work through Mindy to get on the schedule and try to get this burned up. Wish I had better news. It's better than summer getting. I know that. But we'll have some options.
Anybody else have any comments? Scott? Thanks, Scott. Thank you.
Thanks.
New business, Patty, I want to discuss the city voting delegate and alternate voting delegate for the 2022 MML conference.
You just need to vote on who's going to be the voter and who's going to be the alternative.
Yeah.
We need a motion to name you the two.
I'd like to make a motion that the mayor be the voting delegate.
Okay.
And the alternate.
The alternate. Ricky, you were the alternate last year, weren't you? No. If you'd like it this year, I'll make that motion too. Ricky will be the alternate.
So the motion by Mr. Cox, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. MP. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next item on the agenda, new business, is discuss requesting assistance from Jackson County to establish and enforce a no-wake zone along the old Fort Bayou waterway. Alderman Aldermen.
So what you have in front of you is a request for assistance from Jackson County. The way this works is, and I know it looks long on paper as far as how much I put on there, but right now all we're doing is asking for a study. That doesn't mean that it's going to be that far. Anybody that's familiar with Fort Bayou knows that when you come in from the bay, you swing way out and you're kind of away from the properties, and then it brings you way into the properties when you come around that island. And the boats that are coming through there, all those people have piers and trying to put their boats in the water and stuff like that. So that's what we're really focused on. But I wanted them to look at the whole thing. So the first step is us to do this. The second step is the county will most likely get AJ from the harbor master to go into Bayou and kind of take a look at how things are going and probably go out there during times when it needs to be looked at. And then at that point, it goes to the DMR, and the DMR has to do their part by researching what they feel is going to be appropriate for that, if they find that, justifiable. So I'm asking that tonight that I make a motion to adopt this resolution in front of you for assistance from Jackson County to establish and enforce a no-wake zone along the Old Fort Bayou waterway, as displayed with amendment to the resolution stating local citizens have requested a no-wake zone be established for the reasons mentioned herein.
Ricky, I saw the map you sent. It's in the agenda, and I'll be honest with you, I can't make heads or tails from where you're asking. I wish we had a clear picture of what exactly.
Google,
I know I go out of there quite a bit.
It starts at Day Beacon 6, which is like the one that's, so no, it's not that, we changed it. That was the original first one. But when you come in, can you see which one Day Beacon 6 is? Yeah, it's right, it should be right there at the top. But if you notice, see where the channel comes around, it's real wide, and then when you come in, it makes you hug the shoreline, and then it brings you out again towards where Iola is. That's really the part that, I'm really more interested in this part right here, from basically around right here to around right here. But I did put the study from over here to let them just take a look at it and see what they think.
if you look at 16, that's right before you get to Iola Road.
So we're just what you're asking is just a study from there to the bridge and let them come up with whatever they feel is a suggestion. I mean, I could see definitely the loop going in where the new restaurant is for sure.
16.
That definitely needs to be no wake zone, but I know the bio out, when you get out away from the houses, it's pretty wide open. I'd hate to put a no wake zone out there.
Right. Well, like I said, when you start getting to, to where that first tributary, where that big tributary is, it brings you in close to the shoreline, and they are having a lot of erosion issues along the waterway. I mean, the marsh grass is really disappearing. I mean, even places even further down past the bridge by Weems' house, I was over there, and where they used to have marsh grass, like a little island in the middle, is completely gone too.
Where does the no wake zone start now?
I think it's only at the bridge for the boat launch.
We don't want to put one and have a spot that doesn't have one.
No, it would come up to the bridge, and that's why it has up to the bridge, because at Iberville Landing has 8 boat docks right at the channel, I think. I don't know if anybody knows the exact number, but I think it's 8 or 10 they have right there. And and for those people that keep their boat out of the water, it's fine. But when you try and put it in the water and everybody's passing by, it doesn't make it easy to to put your boat in the water when it's being banged up against the islands.
And if you go on Google and you just Google Iola Road, Ocean Springs, it'll pull it up and it literally gives you a colored version, and you can hold those side by side. That's what I did. And I could see exactly where it was in the beacon. Actually, that 16 that I think is where it's probably more realistic we should start it is at the end of Lover's Lane. But I mean, you can, if you Google it, you'll get a clearer map that you can hold side by side.
That's fine, I'll second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so we got a motion by Mr. Aldermen, second by Mr. Endy. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
I'm going to recuse myself from the consent agenda.
All right, anybody have anything to pull from the consent agenda?
I do. Item 8B.
8L. Right. 8L.
I'm sorry, you said 8B and
Yeah,
8L. Anything else? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus items B and L?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Blackman,
Second.
second by Mr. Catania. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Alderman.
All right, 8B was, I just pulled that one because it's not, the meeting is still going to be at the same time, same day, but it's been moved to the EOC and it's not going to be at the Civic Center because of the voting. So we need to vote on it.
Yeah, just,
So
amended.
make a motion that we approve the Mississippi Vietnam Veterans Memorial Event at the Civic Center on Tuesday, June 7th.
EOC.
Be amended to go to the EOC at the same time and date.
Okay, motion by Mr. Alderman,
Second.
second by Mr. Pena. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Pena, you got item L?
Yes, item L is the vacated portion of the right-of-way on East Beach at Water's Edge.
Yes, sir.
And the motion does not mention a drainage easement or a drain that flows across this piece of property, proposed piece of property right away. Unless there's some questions about it, I'm going to, well, I tell you what, James, would you give us a brief rundown?
Can you forward that up to the drawing that's got the drainage pipe on it?
Page 4.
Right there,
Go back up.
back up.
6 of 9.
Yeah, right there.
There.
If you see in this drawing, there's a drainage pipe that is in an easement on the west side of the property, and then it turns to the southwest and goes across this piece of property that's proposed to be vacated. And all that we're asking is that that there be a stipulation that the city retains a drainage easement, a 15-foot drainage easement centered on that pipe in there.
Okay. Thanks, James.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the vacated portion of the right-of-way, ROW platted Beach Drive, Southern End, Water's Edge, Lot 37, contingent upon a 15-foot drainage easement. And that's
Is it a drainage easement or a utility easement?
Drainage easement.
drainage.
Second the motion, Ken.
Thanks.
All right, you want to take, we had a motion on item L, by Mr. Pena, second by Mr. Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
James or Wade, y'all will draw this up before we release that right away. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah, well,
Let's make sure we do.
we send this to Jackson County Land Records for completion. We'll make a notation that that is to be designated as an easement.
Excellent. Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Next item on the agenda is department reports. Under my report, we've got a wayfinding study that has been completed, and we're trying to get funding to implement it. Feel like next year we'll probably have a good shot at getting it done. In reviewing the city logo and other city logos and kind of comparing what we have versus other cities throughout the United States. We've been working on, trying to do an update to present to the board that felt like more reflected Ocean Springs and what we're about, and just giving it a fresh look. So Sarah has got something she'd like to say, and Cynthia's been working on it, and Raven's been working on it, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
No tears.
For me, it was.
I got it. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'd first like to thank the mayor and board of aldermen for the opportunity to design and create our city logo alongside a great advisory team, aka the Fabulous Four, Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Cynthia Sutton, the executive assistant to Mayor and Board of Aldermen Raven Nettles, Mayor Kenny Holloway, and myself. I'm not going to confuse you all with showing you the many renditions and concepts the fabulous four have discussed and voted on, but I do want to note that we have come a long way creating a symbol for our city. It's a huge task that we've not taken lightly. What you're seeing on the screen is a logo that encompasses not just one part of our city, but the atmosphere and vibe of Ocean Springs. We're not just a bridge, a clock tower, a building, a tree, or a bird, but so much more. I'm looking at you, Peg. How do you create one shape or drawing that contains all of what Ocean Springs is and what it means to our community? We're the city of discovery. We feel the sunshine, we live oceanside, we experience sunsets. We are at the end of the state directionally. So naturally, combining elements of what we are and what is what we had to do. It's what had to be done. In the logo, you will see a sun made from a compass that captures the waves in the ocean along a horizon line. City of Discovery sits above the logo, reminiscent of the notches you see on a compass. Ocean Springs sits proudly in a clean serif font that connects font and form nautically. And of course, we had to add a clean secondary Mississippi underneath to make sure folks know where we're from. Please take a look at the logo. If you can find it alongside many other city logos. I want to point out that our OS logo is read well at both a regular and small scale. It has an attractive shape and presence. It's clean and I think aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I love that it can be formal. It can be a formal logo with just enough character to have a more modern look. I'm sure this logo has hours of tweaking to go. This is all that this or that needs more space or thickening of the line. I invite your suggestions as I'm sure they will spark what will be the cherry on top to wrap this project up. Thank you all for your time tonight, and I look forward to the feedback. And please do not be afraid to critique the logo. You can email me if you don't want to say anything tonight. Or just tell Pat.
Thank you. Very well done. Yeah, so this is just for discussion this evening, give everybody kind of a first pass on it. We deviated quite a bit from the previous one we showed you. We'll just leave it like that with the comments. But yeah, I think it's come a long way, and I think we might be pretty close to something. So yeah, and also make sure that, you know, I know the last time y'all worried about, some of y'all were worried about hurt feelings. No feelings hurt here.
My feelings.
And,
not about.
And whatever we do, when you do something like this, you're not going to ever get 100% agreement on it. You got people that. Anyway, but anyway, we just want to bring y'all up to date, let you look at it. You know, if you don't like the blue, we can tweak the blue.
That is not necessarily the hex code for the gray, yellow, blue yet. We've asked for it, and we'll send it over and we'll get that changed.
Okay. Anyway,
Thanks, guys.
that's that. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Nope.
Thank the group of ladies that really did the heavy lifting on this. I'm just in the way. City Clerk, we'll make a motion on the docket of claims.
I'll make the motion to approve the docket of claims, all expenditures appropriate and authorized by law, and spread the summary upon the minutes.
Second by Mr. Empey, second by Mr. Aldermen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We need a motion to authorize water adjustments. Is there anything we want to, any questions on the water adjustments as they're presented?
Seems like we had one a few years back. Somebody's watering their grass and said they didn't know.
Yeah, it was on Jackson.
We got one similar here.
I think
Oh,
we
is that
did
the
the
one on
damage.
Parliament?
That watering of grass is due to a city project.
Right.
It's our grass.
We have watered it.
It's our, well, we should have been watering it, but the homeowner watered it. We had to put new grass down because we destroyed some of it. Yes. So I don't think we could make them pay for watering the grass we put down.
We didn't, I guess it's a good percentage.
We see what
I'll
I'm
make a
saying, yeah.
motion, we authorize the adjustment of water and sewer accounts.
Got a motion,
Second.
motion by Mr. Cox, second by Mr. Wade. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. General public comment. The public is invited to address the board up to 3 minutes each, of a maximum of 30 minutes. Only 2 speakers will be allowed on any side of the issue. So you can address the board on anything you'd like concerning city business at this point. And please come to the podium, state your name, and address the board. To the podium.
Good afternoon, I'm Jane Hunolt, representing the Ocean Springs Garden Club. Today is my last official act as president for the last 3 years, and I'm glad to be here with you today. We have our hands out, working on a project, trying to culminate it just in time for the Mississippi Mayor's Conference here in Ocean Springs on Fort Maurepas Park. That we need a little money, ladies and gentlemen. We've been able to move money around, and we do have a partial grant. We have had to get a landscape architect, Diane Del Cid, who has been, we couldn't have done it without her, who is out right now with some family emergencies. So we get to supervise everything. Stephen Glorioso and in Parks and Rec, and also Alan with Public Works, in conjunction with us, trying to put this down. The sprinklers, we've had 2 hurricanes hit it badly. Patty Gaston's been instrumental here also. This is a project the city needs. And our little hands, our average 70-year-old age, I'm not there yet, workers will be putting in colorful plants for the year. We are asking for funds for 2 things. One, the phase 2 that will even go beyond this initial phase into even a better park, and that will also pay the architect and pay for these, the annual color that goes in that everyone loves and has to be changed out. That's why I'm here today. $600 grant is what I'm asking for that will do these things for right now. This.
I think I'm confused because we were going to get the plans and everything for the first stage for now.
You,
Is that still
you
correct?
got the first.
Yes.
We're taking care of the second and the color. We're also utilizing a grant that we have from Mississippi Gulf Council of Garden Clubs to add to that for additional color that we have not had the funds
Is this
for.
stage 1 or stage 2?
This is phase 1.
Phase 1.
And what monies we have left will fall into phase 2 after the plans are paid for.
If it's going forward, I mean, I can go ahead and take it out of my own.
Oh, no, it's not a problem. I mean, I've got the
Okay.
money in 2%.
Well, good.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. I'm just a little confused because we got a lot of people communicating. It's got a lot of pieces, but the city fully intends to return Fort Maurepas to, being flowered and beautiful. And we've asked the garden club to help with their expertise. And we've already tried to line up a work date. All that's still good to
It's
go.
scheduled for the 27th, and we will be working on site. I'll be there with another compadre of mine when the actual large plants go in, because Public Works and Parks and Rec will be doing that as long as edging, tilling the beds, and prepping that before, then the mulch after we put in the color. So it's going to be a big conglomeration at one time, and a lot of people involved, and hopefully we can get that work done. And I know we've got cooperation because I can beg real well. Any other questions?
I do have a question, Ms. Jane. I'm just curious, are y'all gonna be down there helping take care of these going through because just planting them is one thing, but they've gotta be taken care of all the way through. And we don't have the personnel to have somebody down there every day taking care of them.
We know that, and we're going to be able to we'll have work days 2 to 3 times a year, Bobby. That's exactly what we have to do. Just like the Mary C, we do it twice a year.
It looks beautiful.
We do the Gold Star, we do the Blue Star, Vietnam Memorial, So we'll do it in the same fashion that we've always done.
The landscape plan that Diane just said created for us is a low maintenance, and it's very,
Low maintenance.
yeah, it's very low maintenance.
3 stages, is that correct? Do you remember?
2 that I know of,
Okay,
2 phases. The second is the farther over in the back, which will also, it's a nice plan, really nice ideas and plans. So she's done an excellent job. But that was first, and Dr. Gary Blockman also helped us. No money to the city. We're no money to the city. We've spent hours on this already. And he and I picked out the plant selection, which is hours for an architect to do. So we saved money right there by coming up with plant selection. She didn't even have to do that. So her second is $400, just like the first one.
Oh, yeah,
For
none of
phase
that's
2.
a problem.
She has worked way over any $800 for a police landscape plan in net hours.
Yeah, I mean, none of the money's gonna be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all you did.
Thank you for Rick.
Anyone else want to address the board?
If I may, Marcus Garrett, resident of Goshen. But I do spend a good bit of time in Ocean Springs, shopping and spending money, barbershops, groceries. The reason I came here tonight is that I received a citation in the mail for no insurance. I spoke to several of the aldermen, and I appreciate them returning my call. I called the mayor's office a couple of times and spoke to Miss Thompson, I believe it was. She was very courteous and everything, and I left a message that I would like to speak to the mayor in regards to this. And this, I'm not here to condemn the police. I have friends as police officers. I have a lot of respect for them. This program, I have a problem with. You have to call upstate instead of going down to the police department. I call the Secretary of State trying to find out more information on this company. Well, I was informed the name of the company is Surex. Securex. That's not the name on the form that I saw. Secretary of State said, oh, well, it's just a program that they have going. The Insurance Commission, they gave me the runaround. They didn't act like they didn't know anything. Well, being a little over 70 years old, I like to come straight to the horse's mouth and find out what the heck is going on here. And like I say, I do have a lot of respect for the police and everything. And yes, I heard that they were starting this program of the cameras and taking pictures and no insurance, and I have no problem with that. This day and time, with inflation the way it is, I don't know if we're not hurting a lot of people. Not me. I have insurance, more than enough. I've seen it, and the reason I know that I need insurance for self-preservation. I would like the city to come up with, notify the people. I've talked to a number of people. They're at a loss about this. They're getting tickets in the mail. They didn't come down here. Being the way I am, I like to come down here and let it be known. So anything that y'all could do and get the word out, because I was at a doctor's office today, the nurse said her sister had 2 tickets. She had insurance. I've heard numerous cases. My agent over in Pascagoula, the day that I called, they had already had 4 calls in regards to it. So,
Robert, you want to, can you
You
share
want me to
anything?
respond? Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Because it is, we did get quite a few calls coming from the city hall.
And Mark, jump in where you want to. As you know, I approached this board through the company who contacted me a year and a half ago. Let me start off by saying, and you and I had a conversation a minute ago on the issue of what we've learned since we started, on the issue of the cost of insurance and having to buy liability insurance is hurting people. The last time they did a study in 2020 in Ocean Springs, 50% of every car wreck involved an uninsured motorist. So those 50% of drivers got hurt because they got hit by somebody that wasn't their fault and they didn't have insurance. This program was brought initially to the board and then to the Attorney General and then to Michael Watson, the Secretary of State, and then to Mike Cheney, the Insurance Commissioner, and then to Delbert Hoseman, the Lieutenant Governor, and then to the Department of Public Safety. So it has been vetted by all of them. The company is registered to do business and has a permanent office in Ridgeland. As far as the information that they get comes from the state. And if an insurance company is slow to report, then you may go through it and it's not showing that you have insurance because the state hadn't reported it. It'd be the same thing if you got pulled over by a highway patrolman and they ran it through the system. We're looking at the same system of SecureX as they are. So there are problems. I think the percentage of the ones, the accuracy of this is what, Mark, 92, 93% right now? It's improved a little bit better than that right now. But it is, I see everything, but there's something in the 2+ months that this has been going on. Individuals driving through Ocean Springs, only 20% are Ocean Springs residents that are going through this program. But since this started, and realize Mississippi leads the nation in uninsured motorists. And we're not getting better, we're getting worse. The spread between us and everybody else is getting worse. And since this started, over 1,000 people who drive through this city have bought insurance. And that will bring rates down, and that will also, the idea is, in a year or two from now, the next time Mark does a report on the percentage of uninsured motorists in wrecks in this town, it won't be 50%, it'll be 25%. So I hope that answers your questions, but that's where we are.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Hi, my name is Haley Hill. I actually am a resident of Ocean Springs. And I'd just like to comment on this particular issue. You mentioned that rates are going to come down because now people have to buy insurance. Is that built into the contract? Or do we have contracts with insurance companies? Is that promised? How are we guaranteed that?
There's no, Mayor, can I respond? I wish Scott was still here. Everyone that has insurance pays one of the highest rates for uninsured coverage in the nation because we lead the nation is the largest number of uninsured motorists. When we are no longer leading the nation, then we will no longer be our insurance. For everyone that has insurance, the uninsured motorist coverage will drop.
What if it doesn't?
I have no control over that.
I would just like to express my opinion. I don't think this is about protecting people. I think it's about insurance lobbyists. I think we all know that. That's what this is really about. It's about making money for insurance companies. I think everyone knows that. Every average Joe understands that. I went through a pretty hard time and my credit got hit. I'm a professional. I do work. I'm an engineer. I work as a facilities manager. And even I struggled to pay insurance for a vehicle that the only person or the only entity that would actually finance me a vehicle charged me $400 a month for a Camry that then very quickly after I rolled it off the lot here at Suncoast had torque converter issues. So I could not afford over $100 a month to insure a $400 car that I paid $12,000 for, $20,000 after I financed it for 6 years. That wasn't worth half of what I paid for it. The percent of accuracy of the system that you referred to, it gave me chills up my spine because it reminded me of the percentage of vaccines we talk about. oh, well, it's mostly effective. It mostly works, but what about when it doesn't? It does affect people. It affects not just people at low income levels, it affects middle Americans. So anyway, I would just like to thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board?
Different subject.
Yeah.
Just very quick, Fillmore, Ward 2, just a couple things going on. First, with it being Police Week, I really want to express our thanks on behalf of everybody for what you guys do. I mean, it's particularly honoring fallen officers, and I mean, we fortunately live in a pretty safe city, but you know, it's been a rough week for our nation with fatalities and things. I think we want to think about that and just be glad that we live in the city we do. But thank you for all you guys do and all your officers. Related to that, or the timing for it, we are doing the cappuccino with cops tomorrow from 8 to 9 at the District Coffee House here in Government. So come down and meet the chief and ask any questions, or just shake his hand and tell him thank you in person. And then the other chamber event that's coming up is on Thursday. We're having business after hours at Federal Country Club from 5 to 7. If you know anybody who's interested in tennis or, you know, the sporting activities that are out there, or just camaraderie, please come on out. It's at the corner of 2105 Bienville Boulevard, which is kind of right Thorn Avenue into Highway 90. So anyways, thanks you guys.
Thank you, John. Does anyone else would like to address the board? Okay, we're moving to Mayor and Alderman's Forum. Alderman Burgess, do you have anything?
Yeah, just thank you to Sarah, Alan, Stephen, you guys meeting with me and going over my many spreadsheets. We're whittling away at it. I really appreciate your time and effort on that, and yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Just thought of something else. Update on this. On those poles, Alan, street signs.
I know they're ordered, but I hadn't heard no date for delivery yet. I'll ask her again tomorrow, give you a call.
Okay.
I'm good, Mayor.
Got a few things.
Got the sidewalk.
Sidewalks. Well, not underway, but in motion. Couple things, things coming up. First off, I want to thank, we need to do something and send a thank you to the CBs over in Gulfport who showed up last Friday to the Vietnam Memorial with about 100 guys and knocked out a lot of stuff that needed done out there. Stephen can tell you they showed up and they were like bees everywhere. They did everything from cutting a dead tree down that was a hazard to trimming the trees, cleaning the shrubs, weeding, weed eating, edging, you name it. They did it and pressure washed and got it all ready for the next event I was going to bring up, which is the memorial. This Memorial Day will mark the 25th anniversary of that memorial here in Ocean Springs. It's a one-of-a-kind memorial in Mississippi, and we will be having a brief ceremony at 9:30 a.m. on Memorial Day to not only give them a proclamation from the city, but one that was done by the House of Representatives of the state this year, marking the 25th anniversary. So everybody please show up to that if you can, 9:30 that morning. The other thing I'd like to mention is that I've been talking with the mayor and Raven and some department heads about putting together I'm going to call it a family day event. Just kind of a fun day for all the city departments and employees to get together and have a little friendly competition. June 11th is a date we're looking at, and kind of like to see a crawfish cook-off between all the departments and the board. Of course, I'll be cooking for us.
You gonna back out again?
Yeah.
I thought maybe you might want a hamburgers.
We can do that later in a later day. Crawfish is still in the season.
For those of you who don't know, Alderman Blackman is a self-proclaimed crawfish champion of Ocean Springs.
We'll find out here in the next 2 weeks. So.
Self-proclaimed.
Hey man, people don't lie. So people's choice, man. So Last thing, I have to make a motion real quick. We have an invoice here I need to make a motion to authorize payment to First Response Lawn Care for $4,050 for cutting and maintenance of road zones 1 through 4, May 2nd, 3rd. This was left off because there was a date that was incorrect.
Hold on. We got a motion by Mr. Blackman. Do we have a second? Second. Got a second by Mr. Cox. Okay.
So this is Allen can tell you where road zones 1 through 4 are.
It's everything from Bechtel all the way to the middle school, up Shaw, and then Groveland Road and Dina all the way out to Ocean Springs Road.
Any other questions? That's it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Mr. Impey?
Yes, sir. I got two things. We've got, as everybody knows, we had some items that were not ready for the recent auction, and we discussed doing an online auction. And I think everybody's familiar with the terms. Mr. Clark, who's conducted our last few auctions, it's the same for the online. He'll advertise the auction event in local regional newspapers, do the direct mail, email to 8,200 potential auction buyers, advertising, and his furnish necessary labor to catalog, data entry, etc. And his fee is the same, 14%. So I just need to make a motion to authorize the mayor to execute the agreement with Clark Auctions for an online auction of city assets.
Second. Motion by Mr. Impey, a second by Ms. Burgess. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else?
Yes, sir. One item which is appropriate since it's National Police Week. Yes, we had an email from a citizen, Mr. John Rivera, Colonel, United States Air Force, retired. He was recently involved in a car accident here in the city limits, and we wanted to recognize Officer Bennett, who responded to the police department. He said he cited Officer Bennett for his professional demeanor and his calm inquiry about the health of each of the individuals in the accident. And to quote him, he said, Officer Bennett's actions demonstrated a very courteous, highly professional knowledge in handling accident situations, and this reflects greatly as to the professional degree of the Ocean Springs Police Department. So I wanted to pass that along. It's always good to hear about the good job our officers do. And that's all I've got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. You all received a letter from MDA that's ready to fund the parking garage downtown. So if anybody had any questions before the execution of that, Robert wanted to have Derek here also to address any questions on that.
Mayor, I reviewed it, and it's been a work in progress, but I from the city standpoint, I certainly approve.
Do we need a motion on that?
Yes, sir.
We need a motion to execute that agreement with MDA.
I'll make a motion that we execute the agreement with MDA.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Blackman, second by Mr. Impey. Any
Mayor,
discussion?
excuse me, actually, it's the MDA and the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund.
Okay. I make my motion to include the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Last week, I was invited to go to the high school. Reagan and I were for the award ceremonies for the seniors. An impressive group of seniors at Ocean Springs High School. We recognize the Mayor's Youth Council, and a lot of those young men and young ladies from that council were awarded scholarships. In total, I just want to say, in total, your senior class from Ocean Springs to date, it's not over with yet, was awarded $14.1 million in scholarships. college. So that's impressive. That's strong to recognize those children, or young ladies and young men. So,
Regarding that, Mr. Mayor, just for the record, I saw our ad in there. I graduated the class of 1984, not 81. I just wanted to clarify.
Darn it, I thought you were my age.
I like to think so that way.
But anyway, we've got a good relationship with the school district, working relationship. We're proud of what they do. We're proud of the young men and ladies that are graduating this year. And we went, Raven and I also went to Phoenicia's, and I was able to address them, and I assured them that we want them to come back to Ocean Springs after they go to college, and we want them, if they're not going to college, we want them to live in Ocean Springs and work in Ocean Springs. So they can only make us better leaders of the future. So that's all I have. I don't think we have any executive session items, so we will entertain a motion to adjourn until Tuesday, June 7th.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Mr. Cox. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.